Snake bite rots away Venezuelan girl's leg. An unidentified 13-year-old Venezuelan girl is battling for her life after her leg turned black from severe necrosis after she was bitten by a snake. Apparently, when she was bitten, the bite cut one of the arteries in her leg, which caused excess bleeding that led to compartment syndrome, a condition when pressure inside a compartment such as a leg causes a decrease in blood supply to the affected muscles. She was first treated using local remedies, which probably only included antibiotics, and most likely wasn't treated for the snake venom, which can cause nerve paralysis and blood clots. She was finally taken to Caracas for treatment a month later, but by that time, her leg had already turned black from severe necrosis. The necrosis is now spreading up her leg, while the rest of her body is showing signs of muscle atrophy. The necrosis has also led to a condition called rhabdomyolysis, where muscle tissue starts to die throughout the body. Rhabdomyolysis can lead to kidney failure and death if untreated. Doctors have said that the leg will need to be amputated, but the girl may still die from the poison.
Florida teen tries kissing snake and surprise, surprise, gets face full of venom. Judging from his Facebook profile, Austin Hatfield's a big fan of snakes. Now, you'd think someone well acquainted with the often deadly reptiles would know that it's clearly a bad idea to try to kiss one. Well, not my boy Austin. The 18-year-old, who's apparently gainfully employed making money at moneymakers, caught a live 4-foot-long water moccasin while swimming and thought it'd be a good idea to bring it back to his girlfriend's house, where he placed it in a pillowcase. After the critter apparently escaped, Austin's next brilliant idea was to give it a kiss on the head, which resulted in him getting a deadly amount of venom injected right into his lip. Causing the once skinny-headed teen's face to blow up as large as the Michelin Man's. Despite making it out alive thanks to the efforts of emergency room doctors, Hatfield isn't out of the woods just yet and could face charges for illegally euthanizing and possessing the snake.
Pregnant mom tries to save son by sucking out rattlesnake venom. A very pregnant North California mother put herself and her unborn baby at risk when she acted on her motherly instincts and tried to save her snake-bitten son by sucking the venom out. Jacqueline Caramaza, who's due any day now, was walking back home along Folsom Bike Trail with her son Vinny, when the 4-year-old stopped, thinking he accidentally stepped on a pile of dog poop. But the hissing noise coming from the brown pile quickly made it clear he was mistaken, as it next bit little Vinny on his foot before taking off into the grass. Caramaza quickly took off her son's shoe and spotted 2 puncture marks, suddenly realizing that little Vinny had stepped on a baby rattlesnake. As the venom made its way into the young boy's bloodstream, his leg quickly turned purple and began to swell up. Caramaza, fearing for her son's life, says she next begins sucking the venom out of her son's foot, copying an old move she'd seen on a classic Western TV series, Bonanza. Luckily, the venom Caramaza tried to suck out of her son's leg didn't spread to her or her unborn son. Tomo viewer beware. Wildlife experts strongly advise against trying this at home. Instead, wash the affected area with soap and water and get medical assistance pronto. Little Vinny spent 2 days in the hospital but is now at home recovering well. Even if his mom's Wild West influence technique didn't ultimately save him, the sheer lengths to which a very pregnant Caramaza clearly demonstrates she's one very badass mama.
Anaconda Eats Idiot in Discovery Channel's new show. Self-proclaimed naturalist and recently dubbed nonsense promoter, Paul Rosalie was apparently eaten alive by an anaconda for a television show to air December 7th. Rosalie and company wandered into the Amazon in search of a giant anaconda to put through the hell of being featured in Discovery Channel's newest line of the people who brought you mermaids and megalodons of Shark Week and something called Russian Yeti The Killer Lives are now promising to deliver footage of an anaconda consuming a stupid human. The trailer for the upcoming program shows the crew capturing an anaconda and transporting the snake so that Rosalie can enter the beast dressed in a special snake-proof suit. The suit is supposed to protect Rosalie from the anaconda's 90 pounds per square inch grip. The question is, will the human body actually fit inside the world's largest snake? The trailer does not reveal if Rosalie ever makes it into the belly. Herpetologist Frank Andaviglio criticizes the Discovery Channel show as more nonsense. Ben Paramonte is gathering signatures for a petition against the show on change.org.
Texas teen kills himself with a cobra. 18-year-old Grant Thompson reportedly committed suicide by snakebite last July. Thompson was an avid animal lover and worked at a pet store in Temple. Were also found in Thompson's system at the time of death.
Man refuses to go to the hospital and dies from snake bites. A Missouri woman awoke to find her boyfriend dead after he was twice bitten by a snake and refused treatment. On Friday, 37-year-old Gilbert DeLeon and his girlfriend began their holiday weekend with a dip in the James River. DeLeon yelled out to his girlfriend he'd been bitten while in the water. When he got out of the river, the couple discovered he'd actually been bitten twice, once on each leg. DeLeon ignored his girlfriend's pleas to go to the hospital because he said he couldn't afford the bill. Instead, he tried to squeeze the venom out himself and went to bed. During the night, DeLeon had difficulty breathing, but again refused to seek medical help. Sadly, his girlfriend awoke the next morning and found he died in his sleep. A cottonmouth is the only venomous water snake in Missouri, and the size of the fang marks indicates the snake that bit him was small, experts said. If you're bitten by a snake, you should immediately go to the hospital, doctors recommend.
Heroic school guard dog fights off cobra but dies from snake bite. Two students from a vocational high school in central Taiwan told us the brave story of a faithful dog, Blackie, at the school. A tragedy happened a week ago when Blackie fought off a cobra only to die from a snake bite. School staff sadly buried their loyal school dog on campus and held a traditional tarnish ceremony for Blackie. Blackie was trying to fight off the 1-meter-long cobra on campus last Tuesday afternoon with Coffee, another school dog. Both dogs bravely subdued the venomous snake in 3 minutes, tearing out the snake's intestines and throwing it into the drain. But the snake bit Blackie's right rear leg. School staff rushed through town seeking blood serum from various hospitals, but were rejected because blood serum is regulated as for human use only. Out of hope, school staff and students could only watch as Blackie struggled and twitched during the last half hour of his life. Lin Jingtan, a retired technical specialist from the school, expressed his objection to the current regulations. He said some of the blood serum will go unused and be discarded when it expires. He expressed hope that the expired blood serum could be used by vets on animals in need, such as Blackie. Lin asked the hospital director to appeal to the Disease Control Center on behalf of dogs like Blackie, hoping the expired blood serum will be available for animals one day. Lin adopted both Blackie and Coffee 7 and 8 years ago respectively and named them after the color of their fur. They have been helping him patrol the campus. It's been 7 days since Blackie died. Following a Taiwanese tradition, school staff prepared Blackie's favorite food, chicken cutlets, along with milk and dog food, to commemorate their hero.
The zoo adopts two-headed cobra hatched in China. A two-headed baby cobra was discovered by a snake breeder among his hissing brood on August 7th. The snake was then adopted by Nanning Zoo in Guangxi Province, China. They named it Naja. According to Chinese media, the snake measured around 20 centimeters and weighed 50 grams. Zookeeper Li Keqi said this was his first time seeing a two-headed cobra. This rare mutation, known as polycephaly, has long been documented in animals. Polycephaly also occurs in humans, though we call the condition conjoined twins. The cobras have separate hearts, lungs, and brains. However, they share the same digestive tract and reproductive system. It is not known whether the snake is male or female. The cobra slithers in an odd way, and the two heads constantly bite and bump into each other. Lee said that the cobra has been with them for 10 days now, but it refuses to eat or drink anything on its own. The zoo is asking experts all over the world for advice on how to care for a two-headed cobra. So for now, zookeepers are feeding the cobra using a plastic syringe filled with chicken eggs to ensure that it gets nourished.
A man has captured and killed the largest Burmese python ever found in Florida. Jason Leon was driving in a rural area of Miami-Dade County on the night of May the 11th when he spotted a python poking out from the brush by the side of the road. A former python owner himself, Leon immediately stopped the car and jumped out to capture the snake. When the reptile began to wrap its massive body around one of Jason's legs, his friends ran to help. Being no match for the large snake, Leon whipped out a knife and killed it. Authorities later weighed the snake at 128 pounds and found it stretched out to 18 feet and 8 inches. The Burmese python is one of Florida's most problematic invasive species. Even so, authorities don't encourage the public to try to capture the reptiles themselves.
Cobra infestation. 150 snakes show up in a Chinese village. Cobras scared the crap out of residents in a Chinese village near Shwenda. They appeared on streets, in the walls, and just about everywhere else you can think of. Where did these deadly snakes come from? That's him. One of the villagers. Let's call him the Chinese Voldemort for now. Chinese Voldemort bought 150 snakes and planned to brew them in rice wine. But this guy stored the snakes in a bucket, and they escaped, raining terror in the village. Genius. Python bites tourists going in for a kiss. If you have a weird desire to put your lips on a python, this video may change your mind. Shot at a snake show in Phuket, Thailand, and uploaded to the web last week. The clip shows a 29-year-old Chinese tourist going in for a kiss with a reticulated python. Apparently, the snake was eager for some action as well. However, not the kind the tourist had in mind. Look at the snake handler's reaction. Quite the opposite of calm and in control of the situation. A bite from the non-venomous snake was not life-threatening, but the snake definitely left a mark on the rest of the tourist's travel pics. The tourist, identified as Miss Jin Zhang, was treated for the wound on her face at the Phuket International Hospital. The Bangkok Post reports that she received 135,000 baht in compensation. That's roughly 3,700 USD. Hopefully that covered her vacation expenses and then some.
Oi, what would Freud say about this one? So nature was calling a man from